Do you think your state can tell you what handguns to buy and what ones you cannot? Got some bad news for states with handgun bans, which are also known as handgun rosters. What's up, everybody? Jared here with Guns and Gadgets, your premier source for Second Amendment news. And today, we're going to talk about a massive decision out of Massachusetts that just dropped. And trust me, it's going to fire up gun owners nationwide. Yeah. Can't make this stuff up. A federal court has just upheld Massachusetts' handgun ban and its restrictive roster system, siding with the state against law-abiding gun owners. FPC, Firearms Policy Coalition, who thankfully brought this challenge after I begged and pleaded them a couple of years ago, well, they say that they're not done, and they've already vowed to appeal this, which is huge. Now, this is a big one, and by the end of the video, you'll understand what the law does, what the judge decided, why FPC is pissed, and then what happens next, because this could affect all of us. It's one of those cases that'll shock and awe the system. So hit the like button, share the video, and make sure that you're subscribed, and make sure that bell icon is on, because the fight is just heating up on this one. The case is called Granata v. Campbell, and the plaintiffs include two licensed Massachusetts gun owners, a gun shop called the Gun Runner, and of course the Firearms Policy Coalition. And they were suing the Attorney General Andrea Campbell and the state's Secretary of Public Safety over Massachusetts' notorious handgun roster system. Now, here's what the system does. Dealers in Massachusetts can only sell handguns that are listed on the state's approved firearm roster. It's an actual published list. Sorry about the air conditioner. Now, to make the list, a gun has to pass certain destructive safety tests and design requirements, like things that include drop tests, melting point, and tensile strength requirements. Stupid. Built-in safety devices and child-proofing methods. Those are very vague, but they include like a 10-pound trigger pull and other mechanisms so that a 5-year-old can't fire it. Magazine disconnects or loaded chamber indicators on semi-automatics, and tamper-resistant serial numbers, just to name a few. Now, if the gun doesn't meet those state-mandated features, a dealer cannot sell it. Even if it's perfectly common and popular and widely owned everywhere else in America. Gen 5 Glocks, for instance. Now, Massachusetts residents can still technically possess those handguns if they get them through private sales. Use your imagination. But new models, like the Glock 19 Gen 5, are essentially banned from retail shelves in the state, and that's why the plaintiffs argued that this is effectively a backdoor handgun ban. It's true, right? The plaintiffs said the roster system violates the Second Amendment because it prevents them from buying commonly used firearms for self-defense. Guns like Glocks, Sigs, CZs, Walthers, among the most popular handguns in the nation, yet you can't buy them new at a Massachusetts gun shop. Now, FPC emphasized that the law isn't about safety, it's about control. And they argued that under the Supreme Court's Bruin decision, Massachusetts has to prove that these restrictions are consistent with America's historical tradition of firearm regulation. They asked the court for a permanent injunction to block enforcement of this. On August 29th, this year, 2025, Judge Denise Casper, Clown, of the U.S. District Court for Massachusetts, ruled against the plaintiffs in favor of the state. And here's how she reached her conclusion. Oh, liberals. Number one, step one was the plain text of the Second Amendment. The court said that the right to keep and bear arms protects possession, but not necessarily the commercial sale of every type of firearm. She emphasized that the plaintiffs already own multiple handguns. Granata, for instance, had 14, and so did Prosperi. And they weren't meaningfully constrained in exercising their right. Translation? The judge said, you guys own plenty of guns, so this law doesn't actually stop you from defending yourself. Step two was the historical tradition test, the Bruin test. Even if the law implicates the Second Amendment, which it does, the court said Massachusetts had enough historical analogs to justify it. Wait till you hear this. The state pointed to proving laws from the 1800s where firearms had to be tested for safety before sale. Colonial gunpowder storage laws were also cited, and the ones that restricted unsafe practices. They also pointed to bans on trap guns or spring guns, which were seen as unusually dangerous, and even 19th century restrictions on giving firearms or toy pistols to minors. The judge said that these all showed long-standing traditions of firearm regulations for safety, and that the Massachusetts roster fits into that tradition. Big stretch. So the bottom line here, the court said that this isn't a handgun ban, it's just a condition on the commercial sale of arms, something the Supreme Court in Heller suggested was presumptively lawful. The Firearms Policy Coalition blasted this decision immediately. In their statement, they said that the ruling's flat out wrong under Bruin. Massachusetts' system is not about safety, it's about denying access to constitutionally protected arms. And by preventing licensed dealers from selling hundreds of common handguns, the state is effectively telling citizens what guns they are allowed to own, which one that they can't, and this is all antithetical to the Second Amendment. They also warned that if this ruling stands, it will embolden other states, anti-gun states, to adopt the same kind of roster scheme. Imagine California, New Jersey, New York, Illinois, all moving to say, we'll only let you buy the guns that we approve of, and some states do that. I know it's shocking for those of us who live in free America. Like I'm in California right now, and it's crazy out there. Now, that's why FPC vowed to appeal this decision to the First Circuit Court of Appeals, which is going to be a tough one. And if it's necessary, they said they'll take it to the Supreme Court, which we should anticipate and support them. And this isn't just about Massachusetts. This case could set a precedent nationwide for whether states can micromanage what guns you can buy through an arbitrary roster. Also, whether safety regulations are really just bans in disguise, and how far the Bruin actually goes in striking down modern gun restrictions. Now, if the First Circuit, or eventually the Supreme Court, were to side with FPC, it could nuke roster laws, not just in Mass, but like here in fucking California, right? It's because they have a similar system here. So here's the big takeaway. A federal court has just upheld Massachusetts' handgun roster system. Gun owners and Firearms Policy Coalition are outraged, saying that the decision guts the Second Amendment. And now the case is heading for an appeal. If you live in Massachusetts, you already know firsthand how ridiculously stupid this system is. And it just got worse, right? And if you don't live in Mass or know the system, pay attention, because if this stands, other states will try to copy it, and it will be very, very bad. Now, the fight for this here is far from over, and as always, I will follow this at every twist and turn. But I want you to answer me this, riddle me this, Batman. What do you think about rosters? Are they just safety measures, or are they outright bans in disguise? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you found this helpful, please smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to Guns and Gadgets for the most detailed Second Amendment news you'll find anywhere. Guys, I want to take this moment to ask you a favor. I do this maybe once a year. I am here in California for the funeral of my mentor, and I'm going to try to do this without cracking. Sam Paredes, formerly of Gun Owners of America, Gun Owners of California, a very true, close friend of mine, almost like my brother. My mentor, he passed away, and unexpectedly had a heart attack. And I'm asking you to pray for him and his family. And I'll just leave it at that. You know, I love y'all, and thank you for sticking with me, some of y'all, since the beginning. We're in our almost 12 years now, and I never thought I'd be able to do what I love and be able to take care of my children in ways that I would have never been able to do it in my old career. And I can only do what I do the way I do it because people like Sam Paredes helped me mold myself and what I do and along the way. And Sam was always pouring into my cup. And I love him, and I miss him already. God bless y'all.